Hi everyone! Yes, well, I'm back again. It's time for another live stream. I've been getting back into the YouTube stuff again recently. I kind of took a break from it, from doing actual videos other than live streams for a while after doing a lot just a few months ago. But I've kind of got back into it. I just feel like it. I feel in the mood to do it. So. So yeah. Yeah, I've had a good. Yeah, it's been a good It's been a good week, I think, since I did the last one. As I say, today I just nipped into Leicester for the afternoon. Spent a couple of hours there. I went to HMV because our store is unfortunately due to close down next week, and I bought something I've been looking for a while. This movie, The Last Unicorn. It's an old film, but I've been looking for a copy of it, and I found it for a £5. So I also got a couple of Disney Blu-rays as well. I got The Emperor's New Groove for £9.99 and The Good Dinosaur for £6.99. So ideally to just help try and complete my Disney Blu-ray collection, which I think is almost complete now. I'm trying to think of which ones I need to. I think there's just a few at the moment. I need to get it complete. So yeah. So yeah, other than that, so I've been making a few videos, getting back to my reactions videos. Also, I've just done a video for the Bronies UK, my first official solo video actually on that channel. So yeah, it's been a quiet, still bloody hot, but you know what can you do? My idea tomorrow is to go and sell some figures tomorrow to a guy on our local market. Yeah. So I haven't really been doing all that much other than just doing bits and bobs. Still on the job hunt, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately no luck as yet, but so I'm trying to think what. I haven't really bought anything brand new. I haven't bought any games, quite frankly, because I just want to save my money, most of my money. I'll just buy a few cheap things here and there if I see something I like. HMV is kind of the place to go because yeah, because as they'll be closing down soon, that's really the place to go to look for bargains. Although unfortunately, a lot of the stuff I'm really into seem to be still at full price. But I suppose all the valuable stuff will still be, because there's no hope of saving them. I think now because they there's no hope of. I don't think there's any hope of saving it now because they're going to try and relocate. Um, I think to a smaller outlet to try and save themselves, but obviously it's probably too late now. So yeah. I said to the guy at the till when I went to pay today, and I said how I was sorry and that I'm going to miss it. I'm really going to miss it. But what can we do? We just can't compete with the high street these days. Yeah, hopefully we'll get joined by John and Sam Knowlsy and 000firestorm, perhaps. Yeah, they're invited. Also, as is Carl, got Pikachu. So. Yeah, as I say, mostly what I've bought on 2 recent trips to HMV have been mainly Disney stuff. Bought some stuff in Milton Keynes the other week as well. I don't see that store, certainly doesn't seem to be any sign of closing down, but we'll just see what happens. I don't get to go there very often. Sometimes once or twice a year we'll go there. Me, my mum, and my sister will go there, or just me and my mum. I've been on my birthday for a day trip. It's a great place, great shopping centre, and a great market too. Oh yes, and today also I picked up this. This is what I reviewed on Bronies UK. This My Little Pony the movie Princess Twilight Sparkle figure. Yeah, I have to remember that she is a Princess Twilight Sparkle because she has. You see, she has the wings. So yeah, I picked her up at the entertainer. I just happened to walk in there. said hi to everyone because, you know, when I worked there for a little while, and decided to pick her up when I saw her. So it's nice. Comes with like this nice little crown and these accessory costumes. So my proper review of her is now available to see on Brony's UK. So yeah, that's what I picked up. So yeah, I don't know really what else to kind of say until, you know, I mean, I haven't really done much other than go out a lot, because it has been getting hot, but probably won't go anywhere this evening. Probably just gonna have a night in, really. Yeah, it's becoming increasingly difficult to do that because it gets hot, but hopefully it will start to just cool down a bit soon as we get into August. And of course, TF Nation's coming up. Yeah. I've been giving some thought to possibly setting up a new YouTube channel to have on the side of this one. I'm thinking of a particular sort of thing to base it on. I've been thinking about having a Disney-related channel, and do some Disney sort of reviews, because as much, yeah, I mean, I love Disney, and so yeah, I think have been thinking about doing that for some time. I mean, Disney played such an important part in my life. Yeah. So, in fact, I'm going to do this while I'm on. I'm going to see if I can have a go at setting up the new channel now. I won't let you see any details, obviously, but I'll just, you can witness me kind of creating the channel. So.
All right, Lawrence.
Hey, Sam, you all right?
Not bad, mate. Sorry I keep you
you
waiting. I'm having a bit of an issue trying to get the link.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. No, don't worry. Never any rush.
Anyway, since I've got you, I wanted to quickly ask you a quick query. I was curious about something. What is basically the plan in regards to what do I owe you for the hotel room for TF Nation?
Well, because you basically took the
Because
a lot of what you owe me out of for PonyCon. Well, I think it came to only something like 40 quid.
What thing is, technically the PonyCon thing's cheaper, because since John had to drop out, it's effectively only about 200 quid for the hotel room. So, I mean, because I think it was about 140 quid or something that I owed you. So, I mean, if I took that 100 quid that I owed you and took that as effectively your payment towards your half of the hotel room for PonyCon, then that gave you 40 quid towards the room for TFN. That kind of doubles it out, kind of evens it a bit. Because that way, if I rather than paying you 140 quid for the hotel for TFN, I just pay you 40 quid. I keep the 100 quid, and technically that's your 100 quid anyway. That way it's So yeah, if you're happy with doing that.
No, I've still got 100 quid that you owe me. You mean?
Well, it's up to you, mate. However you want to do it. I mean, if you.
Because you paid for it now, haven't you? You paid. PonyCon's set up now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all set up. Like tickets. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, I'm not too bothered about tickets. I think I can't remember if did John actually pay me for his ticket. Actually, bloody hell! Can't remember now because
I think he did. I think you originally booked it because we did it when we were live.
I did it when we were live, but I don't know if John paid me anything for it yet. Largely because since he's not going, I can't remember. I don't think he has. I might have to just check if he has. I think.
Another thing we need to discuss is: have you come to any conclusion? How I personally, not that. I know this. I hope this won't cause too much inconvenience for John, but I'm kind of getting a bit of cold feet about having him sneak in the room with us. How do you feel about it?
Well,
this first night.
I mean, I'll be honest. I've done such things before in the past, mate. And though it was at the main Hilton where we were always staying at, and it's kind of easier to do it.
Exactly. If it was there, I don't think we'd have the issue. If we were there, I think it'd be okay. But because we're not there,
it's the only thing that's got me a little bit worried is just how is it going to be a problem getting him in? I mean, I've got nothing against letting him stay with us for the night at all.
Neither have I. I mean, this is the thing, and I know that it's likely to cause some inconvenience for him if we don't do it.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I've been thinking, if worst case scenario, let's say if we couldn't put him up for the night, I'm sort of assuming that, he might be able to bunk up the night with Tony and Nick. Because, Tony obviously gets there Thursday.
Yeah, since they're going to be at the main Hilton.
But in truth, with you, Lawrence, I'm happy to leave it in your hands because it is effectively your room. You're the guy that I don't think Dad booked it.
Because on that first night, but because we could be coming back in the early hours of the morning.
Well, yeah, there's that as well. That is a fair point. I was thinking about.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Because we'll all be at the at the Metropole bar chatting and all that, and.
Well, it depends. I don't know how late we're back Thursday night. Because, the last few years, it tends to get quite quiet by 11 o'clock. So a lot of people tend to go to bed early on a Thursday night if they've been travelling. But I will happily leave it in your hands, mate. If you want to have a chat with John, feel free. Because, like I said, it's in your name. So you by rights, you should have the ultimate say so. I think it's only fair that I leave that. It's directly your decision. I'm all right with it, but I do share your concerns. But as I said, I think probably it has to be your overall decision because it is in your name. And as I say, I'll happily leave it with you.
Yeah, John's got the link as well. He can come on if he wants. Carl says he can't at the moment because he's doing something, because he might nip on a bit later if we're still on. Have you what was I going to say? Have you still got your HMV stores, Sam?
Oh yeah,
is yours due to close down?
Well, Hull's HMV sort of got saved at the last minute, so it's still open. Its future is
Leicester's is due to go down next. Yeah, Leicester's due to go down next week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Hull's
Leicester
will be there next year.
Yeah, I hope the one in the Bull Ring will still be there when we go.
Oh yeah, I doubt Birmingham's will close. That'll be far too busy. That. They're not actually, the HMV itself is fine. It's like they're looking at closing stores in certain areas where they don't have a lot of foot flow. Yeah. I mean, Hull's got saved.
Well, they're doing quite well online, but the company are doing well online, aren't they, HMV? Because you can buy online from them as well.
Yeah, that's sort of the problem, because a lot of these, it's sort of what kills these stores, because it gets to the point where people will just order online rather than go into the store. And eventually they shut the stores down, but the company still exists, but online. And it's because, realistically, all it really is, and it may seem like a harsh thing to say, but it's sort of the reality of it all. It's the time.
It is, yeah. I mean, when I went to pay, I bought some stuff. I found a copy of this film, which I think you know, The Last Unicorn.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
I bought this film. I bought this there for $5. I remember it because my sister used to love it.
I love that. Hands up. That is one of my guilty pleasures. I do like that film.
Yeah. I bought a couple of Disney Blu-rays as well. I bought several Disney Blu-rays recently because they've been in the sale in HMV. Because they always have offers on Disney. Oh, hi, Carl.
What's up, fuckers?
Oh, it's the man himself with the beard and the hair.
Action Jesus.
Yeah. I like that. Yes. We should brand you Action Jesus.
Cynicism Jesus, more like.
Yeah. Do you bring us gifts, a great one?
What, you want me to get my cock out?
Not on live stream. Later, we're not live.
That's what I said to Matt earlier. You know, if I wanted dick pics, I'd just go on Grindr. Yeah, I've had a really productive couple of days.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I've actually managed to get things done, and I haven't felt like shit while doing it. I don't know. Feels like I'm jinxing it.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking, despite the fact that I've had a pretty bad sleep pattern the past couple of days, but today has been a very nice day.
Yeah, I'm going to say my sleep's been all over the place. I've been getting like a couple of hours at a time, you know, either a combination of it being a bit hot or, you know, waking up with fucking joints and shit playing all up. I mean, I woke up at 4:30 this morning. I just woke up, you know, took my tablets, had a cup of coffee, went back to sleep, woke up again about 9:30, and I was like, you know, well, there's no point in trying to go back to sleep. I might as well just crack on and get doing some stuff I wanted to do. I managed to get it all done, and then next thing I realised it were 9:10 at night.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, I was going to carry on doing stuff, but then I realised 9:10 at night, I can't really start, you know, fucking drilling and grinding and doing metal work and shit like that. So I'm like, fuck. So then I thought, like, oh, well, I'll go get something to eat. Went downstairs. I still haven't got all to eat. Yeah. I don't feel like eating anything, to be honest.
No. All I've had today, the only full-on meal I've had today is a sort of a Chinese sort of thing in a noodle bar in Leicester.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
It's very filling.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I've found. I've been really enjoying these past few weeks. I've been going to Iceland, and they have the you know, like sort of frozen microwave, you know, like curries and stuff like that. And then sorts of rice to go with them. And I've been getting them and the rice, and then, you know, you bang it in microwave for a bit. But then Mediterranean flavour tortilla wraps from Aldi. Basically what I do is once the curry and rice and that's cooked, is I just make like burritos out of them. You know, just put some meat and rice, and sauce on the wrap, and then flip the edges over and roll it up, and it's nice and tight. And then out of a what they call it, like a pack of rice and one of the curries, usually about 4 or 5, and it's really nice because the flavour of the curry and that kind of blends with the Mediterranean spices in the tortilla, and really nice.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I eat a lot of ready meals because, I shouldn't really, but I do because I'm not so comfortable with using the cooker. But.
No, I'm not. I don't particularly like using cooker. I mean, I've got like a hot plate thing that I can use for like doing bacon and steak and things like that. It's electric. You just plug it in and turn the dial, and the plate warms up. You just chuck your meat or whatever on, and just leave it for a bit, and it cooks. But then it's like,
I mean, and what I do.
My mum bought a chip fryer a while back, and I just absolutely refuse to use that because when I look at it, all I see is it just bursting into flames. It's like it kind of makes me a bit uneasy. Like,
is it a bit like the thing they've got in they use in chippies?
Yeah. One way it's you just put your chips in basket and then you switch it on till oil warms up, and then you drop your chips into oil. And I just look at it and I just see a burning oil fire, and it's like normal fire. Put some water on it. Wet a towel.
I like to cook. Yeah, I mean the dishes I like to cook from scratch. I use the pan. I do spag bowls and stir fries and chili sometimes. But
the
thing is, using the oven particularly is a bit. And if I overcook something, I'll end up setting off the fire alarm.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it disturbs everyone in the complex.
Yeah, I mean I use oven occasionally, but it's got what they call it on. Like a timer. So if I want to put something in for 45 minutes, I can set the timer and just bang it in, and then it'll beep and let me know when it's done and turn itself off. So it's like, I won't set fire things, but I have done in the past where I've like overcooked something. It said on pack, put in oven for, 45 minutes, but it's cooked in half an hour, but it spends the remaining 15 minutes burning. So I don't.
I know. I mean, I always use the timer because I haven't done like a frozen pizza for ages. But
Sam's disappeared. That'll be his crappy fucking Kingston Telecom.
Oh dear, he'll be back. Knowlsy might come on.
I hope so. I've got something funny I want to do for now. Somebody just say what?
No.
I just heard somebody say what? Oh, I must be hearing things. Unless it was somebody walking past your window.
Yeah. Well, I can hear what's going on. I can hear noises from the pub down, because I live just up from a pub. So I can hear people screaming down there.
What were you on about anyway? Before I turned up.
Pardon?
So what were you on about anyway before I turned up? Something interesting.
We were talking about. Well, I mentioned Leicester's HMV is closing down next week supposedly. So. I've been going in there because they got some sales. They say everything must go.
All right.
Even though a majority of the stuff is still actually at full price, but they got like bargain buckets of stuff in there. And obviously, we were talking a bit about TF Nation because that's coming soon.
Oh God.
You alright, Sam?
Yeah, I'm back. Oh yeah.
Did you lose your connection or something?
No, computer crashed.
Yeah.
Told you, Sam, you need to stop downloading all that hentai and watching it. You know, it's mostly viruses, dude.
What hentai?
Yeah, I mean,
All that hentai you knock one out over.
I have no idea what you're talking about, mate.
That's the first. Denial is always the first sign of guilt.
yeah,
For the record, the computer crashed because it got too hot. Hence why the door is now open.
yeah, I know. It's
Poo PC.
atmospheric conditions can, I think, seem to have an effect on Wi-Fi. So,
Yeah, they do. They also have an effect on you. What they call it? Because I've noticed these past few weeks. You know, as it's been getting warm, my connection speed will be as fuck.
Yeah, same here.
It's 1 minute. It's 1 minute. It's, you know, within acceptable levels, and then the next minute it's you know, it's like, you know, I click on, you just open up Firefox and click on Google, and it's like 10 minutes later I'm still sat there staring at a fucking white screen while it loads. And it's like, ugh. I was going to get out phone to Vodafone the other day to have a go at them about it, but I thought, well, just fuck all they can do about it. You know?
my Wi-Fi is with BT. I'm on Vodafone with me iPhone, but
Well, I'm on Karoo, which is the only bloody provider in Hull.
You need to move from Hull because Kingston Telecom's shit.
I'd love to, but I don't know where I'm going to get the money from to move.
It depends.
well, in your town, Hazel, Sam, the place Hazel, it seems like a nice place from what I've seen, sort of John's footage. Because you went to that festival thing the other day.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Can't complain, but just because it's a nice place doesn't mean that it don't have the same issues everywhere else, like it's, you know, overpriced rent and stuff like that.
Oh God, well no, well all I could say is overpriced rent. Don't come to this area. I mean the town I live in, the rent's now getting really expensive. We're getting people moving from London sort of down to here because they can't afford to live in London anymore. But because of the connection to London, because we're only like an hour away, rent has got really expensive.
Well, put it this way, some of the smallest flats I know of in Hazel, if you add on your water, electricity, all that, and then add on your rent, you're averaging a payment is about £500 a month. You know, and that's like the smallest flats in Hazel. That's the cheapest you can find.
Fucking hell.
And like £500 a month, that's like more or less my entire salary. I don't get paid anything, mate. I'm a bloody retail worker on.
Ideally, to live on your own. To live on your own and rent privately, you'd have to work full time, but you'd still struggle.
Well, you still struggle, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I know plenty of people who work full time. You know, they live on their own, and you know, they fucking struggle even with a flat. It's like they say, it's taking piss now. You know, for years they said about, you know, wanting to get unemployment down and get people back working and everything. So people's, you know, the things have kind of turned around a bit, and people are starting to work again, but they're going to work and they're not earning enough. You know, it's kind of a given.
The thing is that,
it's kind of a given when you go out and you work full time. You should be taking over, live on
jobs and stuff, because the minimum wages. I mean, you know, it's crap unless you've got like a really good, decent job. You know, like I think doing this, you know, the typical 9 to 5 thing really isn't enough. I mean, it's, you know, there's nothing wrong because a lot of those jobs are needed, but they don't pay well enough.
No. Well, it's the thing is, it's not that. It's just the, you know, like place to live. I mean, even council. You know, like you try and get a council house, or whatever, a council house or a council flat. All the decent ones are usually taken, and then you can drop on lucky sometimes. But it's like when I were trying to find a council flat, and it was like you know, first time I tried, I basically got told that, you know, there was little to no chance of me getting one, you know, because of my circumstances. And then next time I tried, one came up, you know, because I said, like, I want it to be on ground floor because, you know, like stairs and whatever. And I seen one come up, it said ground floor, so I put a thing in for it, and it weren't very, very far away from here. But when I went and had a look, the plate, it was a block of 4. The place stunk of weed.
Oh God!
And when I actually went inside the flat, it were a cupboard. You know, kitchen was tiny.
Like a bit like what they call a studio flat kind of thing.
Yeah, it was basically like the next step up from a bedsit. You know, and it was, you know, this, and they said, like, oh, it's a 2-bedroom flat, you know, with a kitchen and a front room and a bathroom and everything. And it's like, went in kitchen, had a look, and there wasn't any room to move in the kitchen. It was just literally like, you know, you went in and it was a tiny little room, and then they'd like shoved as many cupboards as they could up on walls, you know, and then there was like a sink and I'll call it like that. And I was looking, and I says, where, you know, I says, if I get a washer, where can I put the washer? And she goes, oh, in that gap there under the sink. I like bent down to, there weren't even, you know, like the, what they call it, the thing is for attaching the water pipe to washer.
Yeah.
They were not like, they were not there. It was just pipes, you know, no connect. And I'm like, you know, I'm thinking, you can't put a fucking washer there. You know, and then it's
no. I suppose another issue with the price as well is tax, isn't it? People who, you know, people get taxed.
Yeah, I mean, they had cheek to call it a 2-bedroom flat, but the main bedroom, it was all right, you know, enough to get like a double bed, a wardrobe, and a set of drawers in, you know, so that was okay.
Yeah.
But then what they classed as the second bedroom, you'd struggle to get a single bed in there. You know, you get a single bed in, and that's it. You know, no drawers or anything like that. So what they were thinking of calling it a, you know, a single bedroom, you know, or, you know, 2-bedroom thing, it's like, so I reckon that they've redone the flat out. I reckon that used to be like the bathroom or something, because the bathroom, the bathroom was almost non-existent. You know, and I reckon that other room used to be bathroom, you know, and the bathroom was a bit bigger, and it was a 1-bedroom flat. And then they've, like, you know, made the bathroom smaller, and then the leftover space to, like, oh yeah, this is a bedroom, you know. And it's like, no, that's not a fucking bedroom. Even if you used it as a kid's bedroom, you won't be getting even a kid's bed in there. It was that small. You know, like every time you walk through the door, you know, fucking door would be hitting bed, sort of thing.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, my
place.
Yeah, I mean the price.
I mean, my place is a bachelor's flat, so a real bachelor's flat. I can't have someone sharing with me. This is strictly a 1-tenant flat.
Yeah.
The other issue I find anyway is they may go on about, oh, there's increases in jobs in, say, the last 3 or 4 years. What they don't ever account for is the increase in jobs is 90% of them are part-time, low-paying jobs.
Yeah.
And there are people stuck in those jobs. I mean, I know people who have been stuck in low-paying jobs since they got out of school, and as a result, they're just stuck. They can't do anything because they're not earning enough money.
I I know several people I went to school with. They went to university, and they they had to come back from wherever they went to uni from. But they're in the same jobs as people. You know, they're in the same jobs as people who went straight to work after school.
Yeah,
like working in cafes, working in bars.
That's one of the things that they kind of mislead you about when you're at college and uni and stuff like that. You know, where they say, "Oh, you come to college or come to uni or whatever, and when you finish course, you'll walk straight into a high-paying job." And it's like, no, it's never been like that. You know, it's like you've got to get the job. You know, and like a lot of them, it's you know, I mean, I used to get it. You know, I mean, I packed in college and went and got a job. And first job I had was shit. You know, just call center work. You know, and then I eventually, you know, like dropped around between a few, like, you know, sort of fucking agency jobs, and then I landed a really good, proper permanent job somewhere. And I was there for ages, and you know, you were getting people coming in, you know, like fresh out of uni, and they're like, well, we can't really give you a, you know, we can't really give you a job. It's like, yeah, it's nice that you've got these certificates or whatever, but you know, when you've got no experience, yeah, when you've got
exactly
no
that. Because academic qualifications, I mean, you know, but the thing is, I mean, the job I had at Remploy was a good job and very well paid, and pretty well paid. When I did, particularly when I did full time, and then moved to part time due to health issues. But yeah, it was a good job.
It's funny though when you get fuckers that's you know, like they've got the GCSEs, they've been to college, you know, like they've been to college and they've done whatever at college, and then they come out thinking that they can go walk straight into a job as a fucking bank manager or something like that. It's like, no.
Yeah,
it doesn't work like that.
I think to be a bank manager, you probably need something now. In today's world, you probably need 10 years experience.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It's like to be manager of a bank, you've got to have experience of, you know, just about everything that the bank does, you know, whether it's just, you know, savings and loans, if they do stockbroking, you know, mortgages, stuff like that. You've got to have some experience of all bits and bobs like that. And then you've got to have actually put time in with the bank. You know, it's like, oh, you know, this guy's worked here for 10 years. You know, he started off as just a part-time cashier, and you know, now he's kind of worked his way up to, you know, like the savings and loan department. You know, he's been working quite well there and is now manager there, you know, so we'll give him the job, you know, or we can give the job to some snot-nosed fucker that, you know, just finished uni and has got a degree in, like, accounting or maths or whatever. You know, I mean, if you've got a degree in economics, that could help, but not much, really.
Yeah,
but you're not going to just walk into a job like that.
A lot of degrees aren't actually practical. They don't involve doing the practical side of the subject.
No.
So,
and then a lot of degrees that they give out these days are worthless.
Well, you know, speaking of degrees and stuff, this is kind of an example of what you're on about, Carl. My dad, about 2 years ago. Now, basically, my dad works at a company that is largely responsible for the distribution and manufacturing of car parts, and he works in a department that deals with the European contracts of the suppliers. Now, about 2 years ago, they got told that, you know, congratulations, guys, you're getting a new manager. And come Monday morning, the new manager walks in, and it's a 24-year-old kid, fresh out of university, with zero work experience, and he's just been handed the job while everybody else in the department are in the 50s and have got 30-plus years experience and can run rings around this guy. My dad's basically often saying that he's this so-called manager is a joke, has no idea what he's doing. And the biggest thing with him that is, again, no surprise considering when you kind of look at this guy's background, is he's the definition of a kiss ass. The moment the managing director appears, is all humble and like, yes, sir, no, sir. And apparently the managing director hates the guy. And it's sort of a mystery as to how the hell he got the job. But he's got zero experience. He's just got a degree. But he can't do anything because he doesn't know how to do it.
No.
Well, that's it.
Well, in that case, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the company's fault. If they've decided to give him the qualification, if they've decided to give him the job based on what qualifications he has on paper, well, they should be more sensible.
You'll probably find Lawrence has got the job because he knows somebody who pulled a few strings.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's the key thing is when you're given a job as a manager. You know, the key phrase in that job title is manage. If you can't manage, then you're fucking pointless. It's like I said, when I worked at Reeve, we used to have a manager there who I ain't got a fucking clue. Job she had before, she was a team leader for a telesales company. She had no idea about, like, you know, employment and stuff like that, or like people on benefits or anything. Zero idea. She just fucking come in and then she's like, oh well, we need to start doing this now, and we need to start setting targets for call numbers and things. It's like, no. You don't seem to understand. This isn't a call center. You're under the mistaken impression that just because we've got telephones here and a switchboard, that it's a call center, and it's really not. You try and run it like a telesales place, it's going to fail hard, and it eventually did. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like,
all people who work in telesales do is they ring people trying to sell them stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean,
that's what I always do. When I get a call, one of those calls saying, "Oh, I hit," or one of those like scams trying to say that they'll give you money because you've been in an accident or something. I hear it, and I hear it. And when I get them now, I think it's always the same woman. I said, "Please stop calling me up." And then I get another call from her the next month. I was just, "Oh, hi, I understand you were recently in an accident, Mr. Simpson. Bye, bugger off."
Are you sure she says it like that, or does she say like, "Hello, is that Mr. Simpson? Can I speak to you, please? I am hearing that you are in an accident. Yeah, you Mr. Huli.
I had one of those calls, or you get them now and then, but the best one I had was a few months ago, actually, where it was a usual jab, call up, blah, 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 Mr. Maltby, according to our records, you were involved in a car accident, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, what, sod it, I'm going to bite just for a laugh. So I was like, yeah, this is me, yeah. Could you just refresh my memory, please? What record, when was this?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Mr. Maltby, according to this happened in it's like 1997 and blah, blah, blah. I was like, so let me get this straight. You're telling me, just to clarify here, in what was it again? You said April of 97, I had a car accident. Am I correct in saying your records are showing I was driving? Oh, yes, Mr. Maltby, that is correct, yeah.
8 years, you'd have been 8 then.
Yeah. And I was like, so you're telling me that your records show you that when I was 8 years old, I was legally driving a car that was involved in a car accident. That's what you're telling me, right? And it was like, well, I was like, yes, that's what that's exactly right, Mr. Maltby. Right, so you're telling me that 8-year-old me was driving a car, 20-odd years ago, got involved in the car accident.
Would they not have said? I mean, would they not have said, that you could have been in the car that your parents were driving and you were in an accident?
They literally tried to sell it as I was the one driving at the age of 8.
Yeah.
Because
somebody, it was some bloke, and he's like, oh, hi, are you, we're just ringing people up who are self-employed. And it's like, I have been self-employed for a while now, so this is going to be interesting. So I says, yeah, go on. And he's like, oh, do you realise that you may have been paying too much tax? And it's like, oh, I know this scam. Go on then. And he's like, well, the thing is, he says that, you could have been paying too much tax. We can have a look into your tax records for you and, see what you were getting. And it's like, right, okay. I said, so you're going to do that then? And he goes, oh yeah. He says, we just need to discuss the, the arrangement fee and everything like that. I'm like, no, mate, I'm not interested. And I was like, what, you mean you don't want to get any money back? I went, no, mate. I says, it's because when I did my thing, I went through an accountant, and the accountants have already been sued by the tax office for underpaying. I says, I didn't have to pay anything back. I says, because they were basically doing the same scam as what you're doing. Charging people for something that's actually supposed to be free. Doing like, we'll just check the tax record and stuff. I says, and then you'll fluff it up. And, a fee I've paid you, you'll then want another fee for doing this, that, or whatever, sorting it out. And he's like, oh, so you know everything then, do you? And I says, I know a bit more than fucking you do, mate. I love the one where they get passive-aggressive as well, where, somebody rings up and they're saying that they're ringing up to give you some, like, amazing bargains or something. You go, oh, I'm not bothered. Then they go, so you don't want to save money then? It's like, ooh, aren't we a passive-aggressive little bitch? Like, no, mate, I'm not fucking interested, because if I was interested, I wouldn't have called you a passive-aggressive little bitch, would I? Fuck off. Don't swear at me.
I'll never get verbally rude with them.
Yeah. So I give them the chance. It's basically, they go into the spiel. say I'm not interested. At that point, the conversation should end with, all right, I'm sorry for, taking up your time, sir, and they hang up. If they carry on with the spiel and the little soy boy bullshit, then the fair game. It's like, fuck you, you little cunt. All that, but then when you tell them, like, I forgot, they go, oh, don't swear at me, please, sir. You're like, wow, what are you going to fucking do about it? Seriously, it's like, what are you going to fucking do about it? You can't do fuck all. All you can do is hang up, get a little bit pissed off, and then tell your mates that are sat in fucking cubicles around you, oh, just had a right cunt on phone, but I don't fucking care. No. I don't fucking care, and for the simple fact, I didn't ask you to ring me. You decided to ring me off your own fucking back. You sat in a shitty little fucking call centre getting paid fuck all. Maybe a bit of commission if you manage to make a sale. There's plenty of other things that you could be doing with your life that aren't as fucking annoying and pathetic, little fucking squeaky voice soy boys can quite easily get jobs fucking licking women's feet because that's all they're fucking good for.
One thing that hasn't been around for a while, which I always used to have great fun with, is a Microsoft scam.
Oh, God. I think that's stopped now because I haven't had anything from that for months.
I know.
Well, months,
I love that scam so much.
Yeah. I love that scam so much, especially when they start trying to get technical with you. And it's like, all you've got to do is just, not even 30 seconds on Google. And, it goes there. It tells you exactly what they're going to say, exactly what they're going to tell you to do. And then when they get to a bit like, oh, yeah, you just need to go on to, or is it client something, and let me connect to your PC so I can spy on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the best one I had with the Microsoft scam was when, for a laugh, I had him on the phone for about 20 minutes, basically reading off my bank details, which I just kept on changing, just random numbers all the time. And at one point, I got, excuse me, Mr. Maltby, this is not going very well. I'll have to pass you on to my manager. And then all I heard was a shuffling sound as he passed the phone to somebody else. It was then like, this is like, Frank, the manager. I understand there's a bother with your bank card. Yeah, Frank, it's terrible. We've been trying for 10 minutes now, and he just rejected it, Well, what is the bank card, Mr. Maltby? Yeah, it's 77112999. That's not correct. That's not working. Could you please repeat that? Of course. 888192111. It's like, no, that's still not right. Can you repeat that again? Of course. 222333. It's like, I'm making it up. I'm fake numbers.
Yeah, Mr. Huli. Fucking yeah. I'll tell you what. There's a guy. I run across one of his videos on YouTube, and he's one of them, like ethical hackers. And he found this thing. It was based somewhere in India, and what he managed to do was he managed to get them to install some malware on their computers, so that he could have a look at what they were doing. And while he got them on phone, like they connected up, they wanted to connect up to one of his like burner computers that he's got, so he did it. And then while he's got them on phone, he jams their connection open so that they can't cut him off. And then he's like poking around inside their, their network. And he basically set the network to, completely crash, and not allowed to, the computers wouldn't work on that network again. He more or less trashed their network switch box. And then he found, and while he was on computers, he found, like people's details, that they'd scammed and got, what they call like cash cards out of and whatever. So he sat, after he'd finished playing with them, he sat and he emailed all these people and told them, go to your bank, get this transaction cancelled immediately because the people that, that you've given this details to are scammers, and he explained who he was and what he does for a living, sort of thing. And then he kept ringing up. He managed to find like 2 or 3 direct phone numbers. He managed to find mobile numbers for this company, like the people that there were only 4 of them, but they'd set the company up. He managed to find all the mobile numbers, all the phone numbers, where they all lived, and the house, like the house numbers and everything like that. And he just kept ringing them up, You know, like he'd ring up and talk to them on, you know, business landline, you know, take it piss out of them and saying basically, you need to either pack it in what you're doing because the police are going to be coming for you. You know, and they're like, oh, you cannot fucking do anything. So he starts reading out all their personal information to them. You know, and then you can literally, one of them there is like, you know, he's like, I'm fucking 10 men and everything like that. As soon as he starts reading all this guy's personal info out, you hear this bloke, you know, basically shit himself. You know, and he says like, oh yeah, he says, and I notice your local police station is, and he gives address at police station and, you know, district in India where it's in. He says, so yeah, he says, you know, once I've finished talking to you, he says, I'll be on phone to them. He says, and I'll email them. You know, he says, this quite big file I've got of evidence against you. He says, so he says, I hope you get your affairs in order, you know, because you're going to be going to prison, mate. You know, the guy hangs up, so he's like, rings his mobile. So he's like, bloke picks phone up and goes, yeah. He says, hey, up, mate. He says, we were just talking. He says, we got cut off, you know, on landline. He says, so I thought I'd try your mobile instead. And the bloke's literally, you can hear him shitting himself, then you can hear background, you know, chitter-chattering like fucking Punjabi or whatever.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, by the way, mate, I speak Punjabi, you know, so he says, so I know exactly what you're saying there. And he goes, no, you're not going to be able to, you know, I'm not joking either. You know, he says, I'm not joking. He says, I am going to get police on your back. That is, you know, then it big phone call where he rings police up, you know, and he's like telling them all this stuff. And he sends him this thing. He says, I don't know whether they've been arrested yet. He says, but when I checked their network server, he says it's been offline for 3 weeks now. He says, and there's no activity on either their landlines or their mobiles. He says, so he says, I'm fairly sure that the police paid him a little visit.
Yeah, I saw something similar to that, Carl, where it was a similar scenario, but what this guy did, he basically did the same thing. He got into the network.
Yeah.
He basically managed to find all the computers they had, and then he effectively corrupted the BIOS and destroyed all the computers. Yeah, it was utterly brilliant.
A couple of them do that, where they do, where it's you can see the, like he has it up on screen, and you can see the, you know, the network thing is, then he just does something, and it's one by one you see computer network status just winking out. Yeah, well, that is like, you know, oh, you've got a network there. He says, oh, you've got 20 computers connected to it. Hang on. Tap, 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 tap. You go, oh, you can't ring anybody now because I've fucked all your computers up.
Yeah, I remember, I think the best one was when someone did that. The guy he was talking to was like, you know, well, he's like, no, it's like, the joke's on you. We've got more computers than that. I said, oh, no, mate, I'm on your network. Yeah. You've got 38 computers exactly. Yeah. That's all of them. And I've just destroyed them all. And the guy's like, no, we have more than that. I said, no, you don't. I'm inside your network. I know how many computers you have.
I'd be tempted just to, you know, like do that, fuck them all up so that they don't run anything anymore, and then just get it so that every time I turn the screen, it just displays a picture of my arse. That'd be funny. I'm going for a piss.
You good there, Lawrence?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, good, mate, all good.
Yeah. I'm in the process of setting up a new YouTube account to have on the side of this one.
What are you going to be doing with that YouTube account?
Yeah, probably be a Disney one. I've thought about having a Disney themed channel for a while.
Oh, Disney.
Oh. Let's see. Let's go. Holy. Oh, yeah. Oh. So, what's this about TF Nation then, or should it be renamed fucking Snowflake Nation? Or from what I've seen on the thingy the other day, something about Gundam Nation as well, being as that Transformers aren't half as popular as what they used to be.
Yeah, basically what's happening with that, in basically a nutshell, Carl, about 3 or 4 years ago, a stall opened up there called Gundam Mad, which you can imagine just sells Gundams.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. I have been to Auto Assembly, you know.
Yes, Carl, yes. Yeah. Well, as you probably know, obviously you'll be familiar with them. They've become quite popular in the last 3 years, so they've basically been given their own hall with a massive, massive stall that's selling all sorts of stuff. And I know that's where I'm going to be at the weekend when I'm there.
Yeah, I'm going to say I wouldn't mind having a poke there because there's still some Gundam Wing stuff that I want, but I can't seem to find anywhere. See, I'm old school, me. I'm still stuck on Gundam Wing, even though I've watched like stuff that came later. It's like Gundam Wing's still the best for me. Yeah, bitches. Retro as fuck.
I grew up with Gundam Wing, so I do like it. It's a good series.
Yeah. I can remember when it's the Gundam Wing series was on. What was it? Was either CNX or Toonami, and it used to be on after Dragon Ball Z. And then they got to the end of the Gundam Wing series, and then they did a teaser for Endless Waltz, and they were like, "Oh, so they're going to show Endless Waltz straight after it?" Nope. They what they called it? They said, "Oh, coming soon," and coming soon was I think it was 9:30 on a Saturday morning once while I was at fucking work. It was like shit. I ended up having to go and buy it on fucking DVD just so I could watch the bastard. It was 2 years from the end of Gundam Wing to the fucking when they showed Endless Waltz.
Well, that was the 90s.
Yeah. Well, really, it was the early 2000s, but
But the thing is, nowadays, that doesn't happen anymore because most people are watching it online within minutes of it being live on telly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing there. I mean, they go on about, like, fucking subscription services like Netflix and stuff like that, but you can watch it. I mean, it's like the official Yu-Gi-Oh channel on YouTube have been uploading the full series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal because like you type something into YouTube and it'll like sometimes it'll come up and say, "Oh, you can watch series 1 of this for prices starting or whatever." Nobody fucking pays for it.
Yeah, you can watch it all on YouTube for free. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like and then so Yu-Gi-Oh channel. I mean the oh god, what that's now. After Zexal, it was Arc V or Arc 5, I think it was, and then after that there was Yu-Gi-Oh! Brains. They haven't put that up for free yet, but they put all of. I mean, at one point they had all of Gundam Wing, all of the original Mobile Suit Gundam, Gundam Zeta, Gundam Double Zeta, and some of the other ones. I think what was the? Can't remember what the other one was. Well, basically, they had nearly every single series of Gundam available officially for free, from the distributors, stuff like that. And it's, it's, oh, now it's on like fucking Netflix or something like that. It's like, no, I'll just watch it on fucking YouTube, mate.
But the thing is now is that I've noticed a lot of things are being removed from Netflix a lot quicker than they were.
Yeah.
I mean, they're having to make more and more space for. But what I've heard is that Netflix plan to stop doing original series and start just filling the space up with things people actually want to watch. Yeah.
Well, that's the weird thing. It's like Netflix seems to be concentrating a hell of a lot on doing like Netflix original movies. And, it's nice idea, good of them to try that. But a lot of the Netflix original movies that come out are just shit. I mean, everybody were ranting and raving about that. Was it Bright? I think it was called that was basically like a buddy cop thing, except it was, New York 2019, where you had a a tough cop and his orc partner or something like that.
I think other than the Marvel stuff, the Netflix series I watched I did like was one called Safe, about the teenage girl that goes missing. It was a short series.
Yeah, I can't say I've heard of that.
The kid was a girl who was in Coronation Street briefly back about 5 years ago. She played the character of Maddie Heath, one of Sophie's Webster's love interests.
No,
don't mean anything to me, mate. I don't watch it.
Yeah, that's it. That's the problem when you've got a star. It's like the person's only a star if you've heard of them. You know, this is the thing. It's starring nobody. Yeah.
Sort of thing. I mean, to be honest, recently I have been sort of thinking, you know, I could like cancel my Netflix subscription and I could still watch everything on Netflix for free because I found plenty of websites with all the Netflix stuff on for free.
Yeah. And a lot of the time, it's like I say, you can watch all that stuff without having to pay a subscription, and you know you still actually watch it on Netflix without paying a subscription. You know, and it's not like being dodgy or anything. You know, there's actual websites that you go on that you just click on what you want to watch, and it lets you watch it on Netflix just by clicking on a link. You know. Because it's like they said, they make their money from, you know, like advertising or whatever. So they pay for a subscription, you know, so that people can sit and watch stuff on Netflix through their website. There was something on Xbox for that. It was, I think it was basically a thing that you went on and it let you watch stuff on Crunchyroll without having to have a subscription to Crunchyroll. And it was in the official, you know, like Xbox fucking Microsoft download shop or whatever it was. And it was like, you know, I seen it and I was like, that looks all right. Only problem was at the time when I looked at it, it was limited only to, it said, you know, it was limited to Dragon Ball GT, but not all the episodes of it. And it said Dragon Ball Super as well. But the problem with the Dragon Ball Super was it was still in Japanese. You know, there were no subtitles. And when I looked at the thing, it would have had subtitles if you were watching it on a PC. Because you could just click turn subtitles on, but on Xbox you can't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, the first site I used to watch all things on was YouTube, but that was like back in 2006. But now, you know, now it's different. Now they're extremely strict with the copyright thing. I found like full series of things in good quality.
Yeah, I can remember watching I can remember every single episode of Transformers Animated being on YouTube. You know. You can't fucking find it anywhere now.
Yeah, I mean, I found there was Power Rangers, there was animes, Pokemon, Digimon, and all the things I used to watch as a kid. And I was up till like the early hours of the morning just going through stuff.
Yeah, just start watching Pokemon. Yeah. That's what I say. Fucking.
Do you buy DVDs off now, Carl, or? I mean, I still buy stuff.
No, really, I bought. What did I buy the other week? I bought I think the last DVD I bought was the Broly box set. You know, the one with all the Broly movies in.
Yeah.
And that's the last DVD I bought. You know, it's like I said, because it's I've got a bit of a Dragon Ball Z DVD collection anyway. So I thought, well, I might as well buy that, and that saves, you know, buying 3 films all together in one box. I haven't bought the new Broly film. I've got it, but I've not watched it yet. I keep meaning to get around to watching it, but I keep, you know, sort of like I'm trying to watch the Dragon Ball Super first.
Yeah. Since late last year, I've bought shitloads of stuff. I still need to sit and watch. I must remember to watch I've got Bumblebee, and I must watch it before TFN because everyone's going to be. I didn't get to see it. I've got Bumblebee, but I must watch it because everyone's going to be talking about it.
No, I would fucking piss myself if all you lot turned up at TFN wearing T-shirts that said Pussy Patrol on them. Yeah, that would just be so ace because it's like a lot of fucking blood vessels will get popped immediately as soon as you walk in.
Yeah.
Go on.
I'm trying to think. I mean,
no, you want to.
I mean, Sam, I mean, you know, our friend Nicole Hale, our American friend, I don't know if she's going this year. She didn't go last year. But,
Is not.
yeah.
I know
She's
that.
lovely. She's a lovely lady.
Yeah. I know she's not
Yeah.
because she said I can't remember what it is. I remember her putting a thing on Facebook the other week saying it doesn't look like I'm coming this year, you know, because of work and like personal expenses and problems and stuff like that. She's not welcome, but Nicole's all right. I like Nicole.
Yeah, she. Well, I met her for the first time because I went in 2017. I met her. She was really nice.
Yeah, I met her in 2010. I met her. That was before she had that really nasty car accident that she had.
Went through really well.
That's what I say there. So lucky, really, really lucky with that. You know, it's that could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know her. I knew her because yeah, I met her, and then I also met and of course I met Timmy. I met Matt.
I still remember Sam and Knowles' first auto assembly. All sat bar and they come slinking in like a couple of faggots, and I just went, Knowlsy!
Yeah. I think when back 2 years ago, I went into the bar. I checked in and I went down to the bar, and first thing, one of the staff instantly recognizes me. He goes, "Are you on YouTube?" "Oh, but you hate." Yeah, I said, "Yeah." And people like, "Oh, but you're not wearing your trademark cap." So some people like, I thought I recognized you. Because before
that'd be funny if I turned up wearing my trademark cap.
Oh, you would cause a lot of staring.
It's like, yeah, it's not the staring. It's not the staring I'm bothered about. It's the inevitable fucking autistic screeching. It's like, music to my ears. Ree!
Didn't you, a few months ago, I think I remember correctly on Facebook, you said you had somebody come up to you and have a
just talk about yourselves for a moment, guys. I'm going to have to go down for a cheeky chuff.
All right,
yeah.
Man. And someone like have a go at you a few months ago about that hat, like saying to you, don't you understand the message behind that? And you basically implanted upon them that if you spoke to me like that in an actual Muslim country, you would be stoned to death or something to that extent.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually happened in Doncaster. I was approached by a lass wearing I don't know what to call it, the one where it's like you can see the face, but everything else is covered up. Is it a hijab or is it no? I can't remember what to call it. I don't know if it's a niqab or a hijab. I can't remember properly off the top of my head. But the headscarf thing. Yeah. And a young lass with one of them on comes up and starts me, like, how can you wear that shit? And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, well, that thing you're wearing on your head's disgusting. I says, well, if we were in a country where you were forced to wear that thing that you're wearing on your head, just by speaking to a man like that out on the street, I would basically be allowed to kill you where you stood, because that's true. Yeah, it's like I said there. It's when you get them that come at you uppity like that. It's like it does you good to put them in the fucking place, because when she doesn't even know it. It's like I say, in Muslim countries, women aren't allowed to. Women aren't allowed to do things like that. I mean, fucking take Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
If she'd have done that in Saudi Arabia, she'd have been dead.
Yeah. I
could literally have just pulled a gun out and shot her in the face right there and then, and there'd be no consequence.
Yeah, and Saudi's a great country apparently because they buy weapons off us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, if they want to buy weapons and kill each other with them, fucking more power to them. They've got plenty of money. Might as well come into our pockets.
Yeah, so they are effectively bombing the crap out of Yemen and targeting civilians and hospitals and all that kind of stuff. So
what? Not our problem.
Well, yeah, but we shouldn't be selling to them. But yeah, as you say, it's money in the government's pocket.
It's money. End of the day, if Arabs want to kill each other, Let them do it. It's not to do with us.
Mm.
It's got fuck all to do with us, you know. I mean, there'll people go back and go, you know, like, oh yeah, but the Sykes-Picot agreement and all that. Yeah, but that was a long, long time ago. And you know, the Middle East, quite a lot of it used to belong to the British Empire, but now it doesn't. They've had plenty of time to sort out the differences, but they're not going to do it.
Well, yeah, it was carved up
not
after
going to
World
do it.
War One, wasn't it? With the fall of the
Yeah.
Ottoman Empire. It was all carved
Yeah,
up.
they're not going to. They're just quite simply they're not going to do it because that's their way of life. That's their way of life. They have the little, you know, the little tribes.
Tribal. It's all tribal, really.
Yeah, it's the tribes, and each tribe has its own different version of how they interpret Islam and everything like that. And then they're quite happy to, you know, shoot each other over it. Nothing will ever stop that. That's how they live. That's what they do. You know, so it's pointless. You know, might as well just sit back, let them get on with it. You know, if they want to come and give us, you know, £1 billion to buy weapons, might as well. It pays. You know, people in this country get paid to make those weapons.
Yeah.
So yeah, somebody wants to buy it. If nobody wants to buy those weapons, then that's people that make them out of a job. You know. So you know, in the long run, yeah. If you want to buy some rifles, yeah, okay. You want to buy some missiles, yeah. You want to buy some fucking fighter planes, yeah. Crack on, here you go. Have them. Hey,
yeah,
look.
I get what you're saying. I can understand that. Yeah, I do get what you're saying.
It's like Africa, you know. There's parts of Africa that's, you know, they wanted independence from the British Empire and stuff like that. So yeah, crack on, here you go. Same with India. Wanted independence from British Empire. It's like, right, there you go, self-governing, off you pop. And you know, they basically spent, you know, decades blowing each other up and killing each other and murdering women, children, just murdering people in the beds, you know, whatever. That's not to do with us. You know, then we've got famine. So, you know, but you know, you're rich countries, you should pay. No. You know, the money gets, you know, billions and billions of dollars has been poured into, you know, these poor countries in Africa. And it's made fuck all difference.
Yeah, because it goes into the pockets of the greedy, corrupt politicians.
A lot of the time, yeah. You know, a lot of the time, yeah, it goes into the pockets of warlords and corrupt politicians and stuff like that. Then you get the, you know, where charities go out to these countries and money goes via the charity, you know, into direct work, you know, like, you know, digging wells, buying farm equipment and whatnot. It still don't make any difference. Because it's like, right, well, you dig a thing and set up a water pump to irrigate our fields. Okay. So that, right, off you go, get farming. Oh, yeah, well, you know, now we need tractors. Okay, well, here's some tractors. Oh, now we need, like, seed and stuff like that. Oh, well, here's some seed then for you to... Oh, well, can you teach us how to use the tractors? Yeah, no problem. And then the next thing, it's like, well, yeah, but can you, you know, like, do it for us? You know, can you do farming and that for us? You know, because we're too busy fighting the, you know, the tribe that lives down the road because they've seen that we've now got a water pump and a big farm set up and, you know, they're a bit jealous, so they've used their money that you give them to buy, you know, rifles and machine guns with, you know. And it's like they said there, a lot of the money that went from, I can't remember whether it was Live Aid or something like that, a lot of the money there went to buying weapons. You know, and it's like, we've poured all this money into the, you know, Africa and stuff like that, and it makes fuck all difference. You know, that's the what they call it. I mean, it's like take Nigeria is its biggest industry is oil, and one of the genius things that they did was to make sure that you know, Western companies, you know, European and American companies go out there to drill for oil, extract the oil, and then, you know, put it on boats and send it off to be refined, you know, into like petrol and other useful stuff. And the genius thing they did with that was made sure that the entire fucking operation was controlled by Westerners. You know, the companies were set up, run by Westerners, the plants were set up by Westerners. They employ local people to work there, obviously, you know. But if it was allowed to drop into the hands of whichever corrupt politicians are in charge, you'd be fucked. You know, and it's like they said there, you know, it's like Nigeria. You get all the bloody Nigerian scammers and stuff like that, and you get a lot of them coming, traveling, you know, like through North Africa to Europe and stuff like that. It's like fair enough, you know, but you know, it's like I said, there's the you know, what's wrong with staying at home and doing, you know, and doing something to help the country that you come from instead of coming here basically with hands out. Oh, give me free stuff, you know. That does my fucking head in, that. You know, and then some of them have. I mean, it's like fucking Donald Trump's been in thingy for, you know, apparently being racist again. And it's like I said, the thing he said was, you know, that's what called, she's Somalian, I think she is, and she's got elected into Congress. And she was saying, like, you know, oh, this country needs, you know, this doing and that doing to make it fairer. And he basically said there, he says, well, you know, you come from Somalia, you keep telling us you come from Somalia, and you've got all these really good ideas, but you came here, you know, why are you not in Somalia doing this and getting Somalia to not be a shithole? Because it is. Yeah. And oh, that's racist. No, it's not. It's a statement of fact. Oh. Fucking my head.
Looking at your T-shirt there, Carl, all I'm thinking about is the next James Bond is a woman.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so that means I won't be fucking watching James Bond again. Well, I might do, actually. It depends on whether it's actually a good film or not. Yeah, it's they've done.
Well,
yeah, they've done what I
get a female character named James Bond.
Yeah, that's kind of hard. Yeah, it's like, you know, I'm called James Bond, but you're a woman, love, mate, whatever.
Is he planning on? Are they going to give him a sex change?
Well, this is the thing. They've done what I said they were going to do, because they were kind of, I mean, what they call him, Daniel Craig is. Oh, they're just finishing shooting the last film Daniel Craig is going to be in. So the next Bond is a woman or something, and they've done, like I said there, where it's James Bond 007 is a code name. It's not the actual person. Which makes it kind of easier for them to recast it, you know, because then they ain't got to sign somebody up and hope that they'll stick with them for 5 films. You know, they can change who James Bond is from film to film, which makes it crap. But it also
I think Daniel Craig's done a good job. I like Daniel Craig. I mean, the ones I grew up with, like Thunderball, Octopussy, and The World's Not Enough, and them ones.
Austin.
I mean, I really like that.
The only issue with Daniel Craig, well, not him himself, is that some of the Bond films he's been in haven't been particularly great.
Yeah, I'm going to say Skyfall was shit.
I don't think anybody even understood what the hell was going on with Skyfall.
Yeah, they made it such a ridiculously convoluted plot. It's one of them where you have to watch all the films together in one sitting. And then you have to watch them, like, you know, 3 or 4 times each in order to get your head around exactly what's happened. And it's quite hard.
But the only time I'd ever watch them was when my mum or dad watched them when they were on TV.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. Could be a new era for James Bond. It might be good. It might not be. I mean, fucking hell, if they make James Bond a woman, fair enough. If they do a good job and make it a good film, fair enough. If they do like what they did with, like, you know, Captain Marvel and that, then it's going to suck and nobody's going to want to watch James Bond again. And then they'll have to go crawling back and getting and starting off again, basically doing yet another reboot. And they'll have to start off with James Bond as a man and, you know, all the Cold War stuff that made the original James Bond books great. They're going to have to try and figure out a way to, you know, modernize that, rather than just making films as though, you know, films set in the 60s, like they did with the Man from U.N.C.L.E. film. Now, the Man from U.N.C.L.E. film is a really underappreciated film. You know, and they got it spot on. You know, they had Napoleon Solo and Ilya Kuryakin in the 60s fighting against the communists. You know, what's wrong with that? You know. But no, they have to make everything fucking, you know, up to date so that the kids can relate to it, you know, and that they don't have to learn anything in order to understand the fucking film. Mind you, communism's cool these days, isn't it? So.
I think the best James Bond film is Live and Let Die.
No, I won't agree with you on that. It's a good film.
Yeah.
It's a good film. Don't get me wrong. It's a good film. It's not the best. I mean, a lot of people say Goldfinger's the best. Yeah, Goldfinger's a good film. It's not the best. My personal favourite is View to a Kill.
Yeah.
View to a Kill, followed by The Living Daylights.
I like GoldenEye, but only the reason I like that film. Well, it is a good film, but the reason I like GoldenEye a lot is because GoldenEye was the very first James Bond film I ever actually saw.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of GoldenEye, my mum's friend, we have not a connection ourselves, but my mum's friend actually was in that for a brief minute. If you remember the scene in the snow with the Huskies and the guy on the sledge,
Yeah.
That was my mum's best friend.
Right. Okay. What, sledging with the dogs? Yeah.
Yeah, the scene where dogs are howling and
yeah, I know.
he's only in it for a couple.
Yeah, I remember which one you're on about. Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. He got that job because he used to earn money, work with his Huskies.
I mean, this is the thing there. I mean, during the Pierce Brosnan era, what was it? Die Another Day was an alright film, but it's like they say, it relied too much on special effects, and the story wasn't particularly good. And that's what I say. It buggered up the film, you know. And then it's like I said, they didn't make any more James Bond for quite a while, and then they decided to, to reboot it with Daniel Craig in and Casino Royale. And that wasn't too bad. Casino Royale. It was close as they could get to the original book, updated to a modern setting.
Yeah,
but it's like they said there.
I thought
they started off the whole, yeah, I mean, when they started off the whole kind of Quantum storyline, and then it turns out Quantum was actually part of Spectre, and then they had what they call him as Blofeld, but it's like. Donald Pleasance as Blofeld, with the little evil-looking man with the scar on his face, and stroking his cat and whatever. He actually looked like, he was a supervillain, but then the guy that got to be Blofeld, in Spectre and stuff like that, it's like, no, it didn't look right, it didn't feel right.
Yeah, I like Spectre. I mean, I hadn't seen a Bond film on the big screen until Quantum of Solace, the first one I ever went to see at the cinema, which I thought was good. I mean, Bond films are fun just because of the action.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, it's I don't know. It's a sign of the times, though. It's things change over time. I mean, even when you watch the Bond films all the way through, right from Dr. No, you can see them change over time, reflecting the time that they were made in. It's like, say, you read the books, and the books are the books change as well, depending, because obviously they have to change out the authors every so often, and the books are. It's like the books that Ian Fleming wrote are really, really hard to read. They're really difficult reads, but then you get the later ones, they're written by like Raymond Benson and stuff like that, and they're just more straightforward kind of action stories. But it's like I said, stuff changes over time depending on, on the world that they're made in, and some of it's good, some of it's bad. It's like, take the Star Wars films; they're the same. You watch the original trilogy. You can see quite obviously, they were made in the kind of 70s, 80s. You can tell that. Then you see the prequel trilogy; they're very much product of the time, with all the CGI and everything like that in it. And then you watch the modern trilogy where they're going for more, sort of character development, kind of storylines, but they're not doing it very well. You know, the characters, the characters, they try and sort of hammer in all this character development, but it just makes the characters seem less believable and less interesting.
Yeah, exactly, because Rey, because the character of Rey, she basically is kind of Luke Skywalker, just as a female.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, they've gone with the evil father, good son, to good father, evil son.
Yeah. And the beef I have with the character of Rey is that she's basically female Luke Skywalker, but unlike Luke Skywalker, she hasn't really had to go through anything horrible. It's like, oh, well, she was abandoned on Jakku by her parents. It's like, yeah, and Luke Skywalker never knew his parents. He was brought up by, you know, members of his distant family. You know, but yeah.
Well, eventually he did learn about his father.
But then it's like, you know, it's like from when, you know, after, you know, Owen Lars and Aunt Beru got killed, and he decided to leave home and, you know, and go off with Obi-Wan to you know, to fight the Empire. And, you know, he went through all sorts there. You know, he watched Obi-Wan get killed, and he had to fight in the first battle, you know, against the Death Star. You know, he had all this other shit go off, you know, fighting his own father and everything, you know. Rey's had none of that. She got locked up on fucking Starkiller Base. Then somehow she managed to be able to use the Force to escape, you know. And, you know, then it's like it's absolutely perfect, everything that she does, you know, without even trying. You know, even though it's like over the course of the films, you actually see Luke get better, you know, over time. It's like at the film, he tries to use the, you know, he tries to use the Force throughout Star Wars.
And trains him how to use it.
Yeah, it's like he tries to use the Force in, like, you know, A New Hope, and he's not very good at it until right at the end, when, you know, Obi-Wan's Force Ghost is guiding him to, you know, use the Force to, you know, put the missile in the exhaust port. You know, and that's the only time when he tries to use the Force, it actually works. You know, and then in Empire, you know, he's learned out, you know, his Kung Fu has gotten stronger, you know, and then by the time of Return of the Jedi, he's basically mastered it.
The first time he uses the telekinesis kind of thing is when he's the Wampa has him trapped and he has to reach for his lightsaber.
Yeah, and he can't do it. Yeah, he can't do it at first. He reaches out for it and it doesn't do anything. It just sort of makes his lightsaber wiggle a bit. But then he realizes, you know, I've got to concentrate. You know, I've got to get good, and he manages to do it. You know. But with Rey,
I mean,
see any of that. You know, all of a sudden, it's like she goes from being a junk collector on Jakku to suddenly being an expert in, you know, all Force powers. You know.
Yeah, like, I mean, the thing is that what J.J. Abrams did was had it so that she's placed in a desperate situation where she has to quickly learn to use the Force, because she learned how to use mind tricks on her own, because she first uses that.
Yeah, to escape. Yeah, when that comes in, and was it? She just like attached to the interrogation table, and that stormtrooper walks in, and she just says like, you know, oh, why don't you let me go? And he goes like, oh, all right, you know, that's either a really, really stupid stormtrooper, or that's just bad writing, and it's not a stupid stormtrooper.
Yeah. Oh, do you know who that stormtrooper actually was?
Daniel Craig.
That apparently was Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
A cameo.
But it's like I say, it's in. I think is it in the second one, not Force Awakens, Last Jedi. Simon Farnaby from Horrible Histories is in it. He's in it for like what 3 seconds. He's like, was it Mons Farm swing pilot? Yeah, he's great when you see him though. When he's in there and he's like, you can even see it's him with, you know, even though he's got helmet and everything on it. It's just like, yeah, nice. But yeah, it's like I say, films are. Well, I mean, they're redoing Shaft again, but this time it's still starring Samuel L. Jackson as Shaft again. And it's like, how many times can you redo Shaft? And what's Shaft going to be doing now? You know, it's like the original films in the 70s were, you know, it's like, you know, black people in Harlem and whatnot, you know, getting hard done to by the white man. But it's not the same anymore. You know, they made the remake of Shaft, you know, with Samuel L. Jackson in, and they made it about like problems with drug dealers and stuff like that, which is like, yeah, fair enough. What are they going to do now?
I know. I think the issue with Hollywood now is that they just can't come up with anything original.
Yeah, exactly.
Just make money.
Well, no, it's
money
not
by
right.
redoing.
There's plenty of original films out there. You know, you just look at like a lot of, you know, like sort of, like I say, you know, the whole Netflix original movies and stuff like that. There's plenty of good stuff, you know, on that, or on, you know, like straight to DVD and things like that. There's some real cracking films. But the problem is, it's none of the studios are interested in doing it because, you know, paying for scripts costs money, you know, and then, you know, they've got to make sure that it's got bankable names in, and, you know, they've got to make sure that, you know, audiences aren't going to be scratching their heads while they're watching it and stuff like that, because, you know, your average cinema goer isn't the brightest, you know, fucking spark out there, you know, so a lot of films get turned down and end up either not getting made, or, you know, end up getting made but on low budgets and stuff like that, simply because the studios aren't willing to finance things that aren't, you know, it's like I say, a lot of films that they make now, franchise. Look, how many fucking Jurassic Park films have there been? There should only really have been 2.
If you include the original trilogy, there's 3, plus the new ones, it's at least 5.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got Jurassic Park, you've got Star Wars, you've got the fucking Transformers franchise went on way longer than it needed to. You know, you've got the fucking Avengers stuff. You know.
Yeah, I know. I think that's taking a break for a little while now, because they've done Endgame, now they've done the new Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Marvel universe needs to end, and they need to stop making superhero films because people are sick of them. I know I am. I'm really not interested in watching superhero stuff anymore, because it's what I mean. It's like, you know, I like Green Arrow, I like The Flash, I like Legends of Tomorrow, and I really love Doom Patrol. But out of those 4, the only one I really want to watch more of is Doom Patrol. Why? Because it's not a standard superhero series. It's something different. You know, the superheroes aren't infallible, you know, and super. You know, they're all just, you know, like weird people that just have
to be honest, when I want to watch superhero stuff, I think of those, like those, you know, the cartoons that were around before I was even born.
Yeah. You know, where you knew where you stood when you fucking superhero stuff. But now, you see, there's oversaturation. There's too many superhero films. You know, it's like they did the same at one point with, you know, like with you know, like sort of, well, they've done it with slasher films, you know, during the 80s. You know, there were plenty of, you know, blood and gore films, and then people's gone off them. They did the same with sort of sci-fi films. People's gone, then fantasy films, you know, we had Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and everything like that. People went off them, you know. It's time for the superhero thing to stop. You know, maybe...
Well, Lord of the Rings... I mean, Lord of the Rings was good. Lord of the Rings is really good. But why they decided to do what they did with The Hobbit was really not a good idea.
Just trying
to split one.
Yeah, we'll try to split one book.
Trying to split one book. I don't think The Hobbit as a book is even half the size of one of the Lord of the Rings.
No, it's not. It's not. It's
trying to make it. To make it into 3 films.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Lord of the Rings books when, you know, the first film came out, because they did like a reprint of the Lord of the Rings books, so they all have the same kind of graphics, and, you know, they all look the same on your shelf, sort of thing. And I got The Hobbit as well while doing it. I sat and read them all, and it's like The Hobbit is about what, half an inch thick compared to.
I think it's just over 300 pages. It's not.
Yeah, it's about half an inch thick, whereas the other 3 books are at least an inch thick each. Fucking not Fellowship, not too tired. Return of the King. Return of the King is about an inch and a half thick. You know, and then the other 2 are about an inch thick, and then The Hobbit's about half an inch thick. So doing that and turning it into 3 films, it's like, what the fuck? You know, that's just milking.
They had to borrow stuff out of. They had to add things in from other Tolkien books to it.
Yeah, there were. I think at one point they were thought about making a Silmarillion film, but they didn't. They just sort of like crammed some of the stuff out of the Silmarillion into The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Hobbit's films were bad. I'd say I think the first Hobbit was probably the best one.
Yeah.
An unexpected.
I've literally zero interest. Yeah, I've no interest in it whatsoever. I don't particularly like Lord of the Rings at all. I've read the books and I've seen the films, and films are all right to watch on a Sunday afternoon if there's no else on. But for me, they don't. I mean, there were people that were proper. When they announced the films, and then the people were fucking spunking off. Just over the thought of it. Like that fucking. When they had the trailer for the new Star Wars film, the guy was sat there crying his eyes out, like that. People were like that for the Lord of the Rings film. It's like, why? It's a film.
Well, apparently, when the books came out all them years ago, was it during the 30s or something they were originally
40s.
Published?
Tolkien wrote
40s, I think.
Tolkien
almost
he wrote The Hobbit in the 30s, I think it was. And then he wrote the Lord of the Rings trilogy because it was really popular in the 60s because it was kind of like a hippie thing, to read these books about,
apparently almost at once when they were published, they wanted, studios automatically wanted to turn it into a film.
Yeah.
Even the Beatles actually wanted to. Apparently they wanted to, Paul was going to be Frodo, Ringo was going to be Sam, George was going to be Gandalf, and Tom was going to be Gollum.
Yeah, that's not true.
No, I'm going to say I can't imagine that. The Beatles are the thing there. You shall not pass. She loves me. Yeah.
I heard it on. It was on a documentary. It was on the documentary made that was on the DVD of Return of the King.
Yeah, the Beatles weren't even in their own films. Yeah, I mean they had the what they call the Beatles films that they made in the 60s. I can't remember what it. Oh god, what did they? Yeah, they did Help, which was just
Hard Day's Night.
Yeah, and Hard Day's Night. Yeah, Yellow Submarine, which is probably the most famous Beatles film.
Yeah,
didn't even.
I love that. I love Yellow Submarine.
But it didn't even have the Beatles in it. The people doing the voices were just voice actors doing impressions of the Beatles. The only time the Beatles actually appear in the film is at the end, where they do like a little thingy where there's just four of them sat around and they're talking about what happened in film, and whenever they play the songs, it's obviously them singing, because they just play the record over the top of the animation, but all the dialogue and stuff like that that's spoken in the film, that's not any of the Beatles. That's just people doing impressions of them. It's like that, but it's like the Lord of the Rings films. They didn't do them when it was like the 60s and 60s because they couldn't really do them. It's only with modern CGI. I mean, you look at the original Lord of the Rings film that was a cartoon.
Yeah,
but that's not very good.
Story though, did it? That animated didn't finish the story.
No, it didn't finish the story.
It only got as far as the midway point of the Two Towers.
Yeah, because they did a lot of the animation through rotoscoping. Like the animated Frodo and stuff like that normally, but then the the ring wraiths and stuff like that. They did that through rotoscoping, and even that wasn't very good, but it was the best they could do at the time. And it's only with the CGI stuff that they can actually have like actual people, big armies and stuff like that. You just get a group of 10 guys together dressed in armor and take a few shots of them, then you can duplicate that group of guys over and over and over, and you've got an army kind of thing. That's the only way that they could do them now. I mean, I'm sure in a few more years they might do a reboot and do the films again, and by then they'll look at other stuff. Imagine doing it VR, and if they did it like VR or augmented reality, and you got picked to play Frodo or something like that.
Yeah, I know. I'd seen. I saw several cartoons when I was a kid, of classic stories, and they have like animatronic cast, basically animals, as all the characters, the human characters. Which clearly that was made to be funny because I suppose that keeps kids' eyes on the screen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You'll know of the absolutely worst animated film in existence. Was that bloody
5?
crappy Italian animated version of Titanic?
Can't say I've
Oh
seen
yes, I know. I've heard of that. Yeah.
I've not heard of that one.
It became a lot more. It became a lot more well known when the Nostalgia Critic reviewed it.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah. I've not seen it.
Yeah. I mean, the human characters are still human, but it has talking animals in it, and there's a dog doing a rap music video.
Okay, can't be as bad as Joe Pesci when he did a rap video. But yeah, I'm gonna say the worst animated film I've ever seen was Diatron 5. It's also known as Space Transformers. It's
I've heard of that one.
Yeah,
it's terrible. It's absolutely fucking. It's even worse than Psychic Wars, which is one of the worst animes ever released. That's awful. Yeah,
Has anybody seen or heard of the rip-off that was Turkish Star Wars?
Oh god, yeah, I sat and watched that. It's actually funny as fuck. It's like I ain't gonna know what they're saying in the dialogue, but the proper cheap ass special effects and the reuse of pirated footage from Star Wars is just funny as fuck.
Yeah. George Lucas.
There's now even a Lego Star Wars series, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's a Lego.
Well, I've started playing what they call it, Forza 4 again, and been a while since playing. When I stuck it in the other day, the first thing that come up was the new add-on for it, which is Lego Speed Racers, and it's like, hang on, we're advertising a Lego game.
Friend told me about that.
Yeah, apparently it's not very good though. The Speed Racers thing. I don't know. I'm not bothered about getting it.
I will admit, for me, Lego games are a guilty pleasure. I really like them. I find them fun. I mean, I played like Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Star Wars, and
Oh, I'm going to say, speaking of Turkish Star Wars, there's actually a sequel to it.
Is there? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's on YouTube because the original Turkish Star Wars, its name was actually The Man Who Saved the Universe in Turkish. Obviously, that's what its title is in Turkish. The sequel's called Son of the Man That Saved the Universe. It's nowhere near as good as the original. It's not even funny, like the original Turkish Star Wars is unintentionally funny. This isn't.
Yeah.
It's just boring.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that, but I heard there was this little film, a series they did animation just using thumbs called Thumb Wars. There's a Star Wars one.
I can't say I've heard of that. Sounds like something.
No, there was also a Thumb, and there was Thumbtanic as well. Thumbtanic.
That's what I say. They missed out on a thing with Titanic because they should have made like a thingy where nobody died and the ship got there. That'd have been ace.
Yeah.
It's like they said there just to fuck with people's heads. Like they got pictures to watch Titanic, and they happen to be there the day that they show the version where nobody dies and the ship makes it all the way. Yeah. And then it'll start off like then it'll start like like internet conspiracy theories, about some people said they went to the pictures once to see Titanic and nobody died and it was a happy ending. And Bill like, no, you didn't. It's like, yeah, I did. Yeah, he called me a liar. That'd have been interesting.
There was that parody trailer that went viral. That fan-made thing that went viral a few years back. Titanic Surface, where they find Leonardo DiCaprio. He's been frozen in ice and he's brought back to life.
Yeah.
100 years later.
Yeah, Titanic 2. This time it's personal.
Yeah, there was that. Speaking of knockoffs and stuff, has anybody ever watched the bootleg version of Star Wars Episode 3, often referred to as Backstroke of the West?
Oh, the Do Not Want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Chinese. What was it? It started off as English, and then they put Chinese subtitles on it. But then somebody had the fucking brilliant idea to translate the Chinese subtitles back into English without actually having an understanding of how to speak English. So they ended up with, instead of no, it's Do Not Want. I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips of it.
Yeah, like
just
the Sith are referred to as the Big.
the Big.
The Jedi Order becomes a Presbyterian church.
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Stardub version of like Headmasters and Master Force and Victory. It's like the translations in that were awful, and the voice acting was even worse. They're like fucking Sparkle instead of Spike, and what was it? Billy.
Yeah.
Blaster. Oh look, here comes Blaster. No, it's not. It's Billy. Yeah, and then Grimlock called, was it Johnny or something like that?
Yeah. Some of the knockoff films I've seen, there's one I've actually got on DVD which I quite like. It's called Ghost Shark, which is kind of a parody of Jaws with another element kind of mixed in from something where a shark is killed and its ghost can materialize wherever there's water and it can kill people.
Yeah.
There was actually one from Asylum, the studio Asylum, that makes famous for making not.
Yeah.
Sounds
what
good. Was it? They did it. Yeah. And they did Titanic 2.
Yeah. Sharknado. So they said there, it's.
They did the Transformers one, didn't they?
Yeah, Transmorphers. Well, there's Transmorphers and Transmorphers. It's a prequel, I think it is. I can't remember whether it's like 2 Transmorphers films. Somebody said the other day, they said about, they'd watched a documentary on the Sci-Fi Channel about, like fucking ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs being proof of aliens and stuff like that. Somebody pointed out, they went, bear in mind, you watch the documentary on the Sci-Fi Channel. It's like the Sci-Fi Channel also paid for 7 Sharknado films to be made. So how fucking good do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, I mean, what was the other one? No, what was it? Do you remember there was this cartoon series in the 90s? It was called Walter Melon, and that every episode was a parody of something famous.
Nope, never heard of it.
Do you remember that, Sam?
Mm-mm.
Walter Melon?
No,
let me look it up. Never.
Yeah, there was a Star Wars. There was a Star Wars Mickey Take episode, a Power Rangers one. Yeah, Walter Melon.
Walter Melon. Let's have a look. The English language version of the cartoon character Akil Talon, and then it says Walter Melon TV series, the English language version based on this character. And then Walter Melon was also a main villain from the Aqua Teen Hunger Force film. Let me just have a look here. Walter Melon. Oh yeah, Walter Melon was a 1998 animated TV show loosely adapted from the Franco-Belgian comic Akil Talon. Oh yeah, Walter Melon and his assistant Bitterbug run a company as Heroes for Hire. People get in trouble, go missing, or fall victim to a villain's latest scheme. Melon and Bitterbug take their places temporarily in the show. Walter and Bitterbug replace spoofs of characters from pop culture, such as Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Hulk, James Bond, Indiana Jones, Kirk and Spock, Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, Tarzan, Mad Max, 2 Power Rangers, Jason Lee Scott and Billy Cranston, The Terminator, Fox Mulder, Rambo, Little Red Riding Hood, and Casper the Friendly Ghost. Unlike most heroes, Walter is dim-witted, overweight, jolly French-American time traveller with a melon-shaped nose and lots of luck, but nobody ever notices his apparent change in appearance. Yeah. Can't say I've ever heard of that before you just mentioned it. Not even got any voice cast members that I've ever heard of either. I'm not surprised really, because if it's a French cartoon, it'll probably be crap. As with everything that comes from France.
Well, isn't some anime jointly from France and Japan?
No.
Don't get me started on that. It's because the French were really into anime in the kind of late 70s through to the mid 80s. It's like Ulysses 31 is a French anime, but the animation was all done in the animation, the storyboarding, and all that was all done in Japan. But it was Deek, the animation studio is French, one called Deek. Yeah, they paid for most of it. There was quite a few that Deek made that were sort of in the anime style, but not actual anime. I can't think. Other than Ulysses 31, I can't think. There was Inspector Gadget was also a Deek thing. It was done in more shonen. I love the Inspector Gadget cartoon. Yeah, it was done more in the kind of shonen style, which is why Inspector Gadget has a lot of similarities visually with things like Dr. Slump.
Yeah.
I can't remember anymore. The only two off the top of my head that I can remember. But then again, they're not French. They're French Canadian. There is a difference. The French Canadians are more arrogant than the French.
Yeah, because I think the original Inspector Gadget cartoon was actually based in the town in Canada, not in the States.
Yeah, it's the Deek animation studio is based in Canada. It's like they produced a lot of Deek produced a lot of cartoons, for the French market. There's quite a lot like you remember one called the Smoggies?
Yes, I remember that.
I've heard of it.
The Smoggies.
I've seen it.
Yeah, Smoggies was I don't think that was Deek, but it was a French cartoon that was later dubbed into English, which wasn't too bad to be fair. Although I know that the kind of storyline between the French and the English versions changed a fair bit. The French version was more.
I didn't see a lot of anime until I was like 8, until I was 9. We didn't get Sky Digital until I was 9 years old. I got it for my 9th birthday because I really wanted Fox Kids, and I started watching Fox Kids. Yeah. And they had some of those cartoons like Inspector Gadget and were all on there, whilst others were on Cartoon Network.
Yeah. In what they call it, I remember my mate going on about Techno Man. And I'm like, that's nice. I didn't have Sky at the time, so I couldn't watch it. But then it's like when you hunt it down and based the Techno Man is Tekka Man Blade, and you find the original version and compare it to Techno Man. It's like the original version is tons better because obviously they've not cut bits out of it and things like that. But it's still pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What was? There are lots of cartoons. Cartoons I grew to like when I got Fox Kids. Was like the 90 series of Mortal Kombat was very good.
Oh shit! Was it Mortal Kombat Into the Shadow Realm or something like that? It was called.
Yeah.
Realm of Shadows or something like that. I remember watching that. I think it only lasted one series because I remember watching it. It was wank. Same as what was it? Stargate Infinity. When they did that cartoon show on Stargate, and it was like watching it, and it's like other than the Stargate, there really wasn't much in common with Stargate at all. It was just like the characters just happened to travel around places via a Stargate.
Yeah, and what was the and obviously also there was the Ace Ventura cartoon, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and the Mask. And the Mask spin-off series.
The Mask.
I really like those.
Yeah, the Mask cartoon series was fucking awesome.
Because it wasn't the villain, Professor Pretorius. He was voiced by Tim Curry, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. The only thing is, though, the character of the girl Tina from the film wasn't carried over into that series for some odd reason. Cameron Diaz's character.
No, because it's a kid's cartoon and they don't want him, like getting his cock out. That was the point of the character in the film was, he wanted to shag her basically, and that's not really a good thing to be putting in a kid's cartoon.
No, but the other character they did come in. There was the reporter Peggy, the other woman who sells him out to the bad guys.
Yeah, I think
they bought her.
Yeah, I think that was because what they did there was they kind of brought it more in line with the Mask comic, because the Mask comic, if they did a straight adaptation of that, it would be some pretty dark shit. But they
I know it was a Dark Horse comic, wasn't it? I heard because the character originally I think is called Big Head, and the character of Stanley Ipkiss, I think he actually dies at the end of the first.
Yeah, I think he gets
at the end of the first run
or something like that. It's same with oh god, what were it? Oh, I can't remember. I don't know if it was Watchmen or what was those films that Frank Miller did? Was it Sin City? I can't remember whether it was Watchmen or Sin City, but there's a character in one of them called Shithead, and he's literally a person made out of the shit of all evil people that have ever lived. And he mysteriously didn't appear in any of the films.
Yeah. Talking of the Mask, a rumor has it that an actual sequel has now been announced.
Yeah. No, it's been a lot of talk in the last few days, Carl, about an actual sequel.
An actual, what, starring Jim Carrey?
I don't know. All I know is that there's apparently there's a sequel being confirmed to be happening.
Yeah. I mean, Son of the Mask was just fucking awful.
Oh god, that bullshit. That was complete bullshit.
Yeah, it's that was fucking awful. Yeah, I think that was a case of, they wanted to keep hold of the rights to films, so they just made a film called Son of the Mask just so they could use the characters to keep hold of them for a few more years. Yeah. But being as the film ended up sucking balls, they were just like, fuck it, we can't make any more of this.
Yeah, but there's only one character in that film from the original film, and that's that guy Ben Stein, played that doctor. He's the only character that appears in it.
Yeah. Well, so that's how it's like with the straight to DVD American Pie films. The only character that carried over from the main films to the straight to DVD one was Thingy's dad.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, the straight to what was it? There was The Naked Mile, Bandcamp, and I forget what the other one is. No, there's Book of Bandcamp was really good. I must admit, American Pie Bandcamp was really good. I like that one. Naked Mile was shit. Book of Love was middling. It was interesting. It was a good film, but it wasn't really good. I mean, they're on about doing another American Pie film with the main cast in. It's like, aren't they all getting on a bit now? And to be honest, they can't really do much anymore because, as time's moved on, they're all like now middle-aged and everything. It's going to be hard to do kind of a teen romance comedy with them. It was bad enough the last one.
Well, it did like American Pie Reunion, which wasn't that good, really.
That was fucking shit.
I know, like you just said, Carl, there's talk of them doing another one. I don't have a clue what they do with that because I think all the actors now are probably all at least in the 40s by now.
Yeah. I mean, what they call him that's Finch was in Scorpion. He got a regular job in Scott, and he does the voice of Stan Smith's son. I forgot what they call him. Steve.
Yes.
Yeah, he does the voice of Steve Smith, and that's that. But he's getting on a fair bit now. He doesn't seem to get on much. I mean, they've cancelled Scorpion, so he's not going to be in that anymore. The others, I really don't know. I mean, some of them have gone on to be in films, but none that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, what they call the women that's been in it. I mean, that was in American Pie, the main guy's girlfriend. She's in Sharknado at Tara Reid. She's the fucking star of Sharknado.
There was one of I can't remember her name, but she was really big in the 90s because she played Willow in Buffy.
Yeah, Alison Hannigan.
That's it, yes.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of TV now because she was in what was it? Not How I was it How I Met Your Mother or
Oh yeah. That is that. Yeah.
some, or was it like 50 Things Not to Do to My Daughter or something like that? She's been in that. But yeah, it's the people that were in the American Pie films. They're not many of them were actually that famous.
Mm.
You know, they had these films and then they've kind of gone on to do other stuff and not really recapture. You could say it's partly due to typecasting, but at the end of the day, him that's Finch, he was in Scorpion. It was a completely different character to Finch. You know, and he did quite well at that. It seems to be the money seems to be in TV nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, look how much. You know, all those people that have been in like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, you've never fucking heard of them, and now they're appearing in films. You know, now Game of Thrones is finished, they're now all appearing in fucking films. You know.
Yeah, I mean, there was that kid in Game. Well, there was quite the famous kid actor who was in Game of Thrones. Is it Thomas Shanks something?
I haven't got a clue. I never watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the kid he was in. He was in Love Actually. He was in Nanny McPhee.
Oh yeah, I know you're on about. Yeah, I know you're on about him. That looks shifty.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when he were in Nanny McPhee, he looked really shifty. You know, like his sort of thing. Like, you know, you wouldn't leave your fucking wallet on table when you were in the same room. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I say, all them that were in Game of Thrones now seem to be being in films, but then it's like I say, you see a lot of people that used to be in films are now doing TV. You know, because that seems to be.
Well, you know, there's a Downton Abbey movie coming.
Oh fuck!
They're doing a theatrical Downton Abbey movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I never watched it, but
I'm going to say that's something I can't say. I think I watched the. You know, I think I watched the first few episodes of it. And it was just like, you know, it's just upstairs, downstairs, but more modern. You know, in the first few episodes, there's no clear line of succession for the Lord of Downton Abbey Manor or whatever. And it's like, not interested. But yeah, I'm going to say it's hard to find anything these days that's worth fucking watching. I say, you know, it's not a case of the running out of ideas. It's just the case of they're using the same fucking ideas over and over again. You know, so
yeah,
it's like I said to the mate the other day. It's like, isn't it about time that they made like some new episodes of Sherlock? But oh no, wait, there were look at Benedict Cumberbatch or fucking Bandersnatch or whatever. He's busy doing films, and then they made that fucking was Elementary with Johnny Lee Miller in as Sherlock Holmes. It's Sherlock Holmes but in America, and that was shit. And it's like, you know, what's wrong with some new episodes of Sherlock? You know, that'd be great. You know, what's wrong with some new episodes of Doctor Who that aren't shit?
I think Doctor Who was going to be off the air for a long time.
I don't know. I haven't even looked to see whether there's going to be any specials or anything this year.
Is what's her name? Jodie Whittaker coming back for another series?
Yeah, as far as I know, she's still on as being Doctor, but it's that last series wasn't too bad. It was nowhere near as bad as some of the Peter Capaldi stuff. I mean, they wasted Peter Capaldi because Peter Capaldi was really into Doctor Who. He's proper into Doctor Who. He loves Doctor Who, and then they had him just basically in like 2 or 3 series with just fucking shit storylines, you know. And half the time it weren't even stuff about Doctor. It was like the Doctor getting all fucking moody and spitting his dummy out and shit like that. And you know, and then they've moved on to Jodie Whittaker, and Jodie Whittaker's Doctor seems to spend a lot of time fucking talking about vital social issues and shit. And oh, for God's sakes. You know, but yeah, I mean, at least Enterprise is finished, and not Enterprise. Star Trek Discovery, that's basically finished. There's the new, was it Star Trek Picard, which may or may not be good. I don't know.
Yeah, just to confirm for you, Cal, you may or may not know this, but there is already been confirmed it's going to be a season 3 of Discovery.
How the fuck are they going to do that?
No idea, but it's been confirmed.
Not really a Star Trek fan, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to say I can. It's like the final episode of Discovery pretty much erased everybody from existence. I can imagine him. I can sort of imagine him doing the series, but set in the future, in the far future. I can't see it working very well, though.
Well, the theory is that they're basically going to do a bit of a Star Trek Voyager rip-off. They're going to have Discovery trapped in the distant future trying to get back home. That's kind of what the theory is. So like Voyager when it's trapped in the Delta Quadrant trying to get back home.
Yeah, they're trapped in, except they're going to be trapped in the future instead of, that's, fucking... Well, we can only wait and see if they do it, and, and if it's any good or not. It probably won't be. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said on Facebook the other week. What was it when they did what they call it? BBC said that they desperately wanted fans to send in ideas for stories and scripts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that way we don't have to pay anybody.
Yeah, for stories for Doctor Who, and it's like, I sent them a few story ideas and spec scripts back in, was it David Tennant's era, and was flatly told by the BBC that they didn't accept, fan scripts or fan suggestions, things like that, because they employed, like industry renowned script writers and stuff. They didn't need us, scumbags trying to, help. And it's like, oh, how the fucking tables have turned. Yeah. I don't know. I need another piss now. Oof.
We'll call it in a few minutes, guys, anyway, I think, because we've been on for quite a while, haven't we?
Yeah, it's fine. I'd have to anyway, mate. I've got to be up early tomorrow. There's a plumber coming around at like 8:30. Yeah. So has to be out of bed early so someone's there for the plumber.
All right. Yeah, I know the feeling. Man, my dad's still got people coming around in his house in Poland because they're still working on the house. So. Yeah. Right, I'm going to book my coach this week to TF Nation.
Yeah, just so you know, mate, the coach me and John are getting back on the Monday isn't till, I think, 4:15 in the afternoon.
All right.
Because we normally get, the normal coach we get, if I'm correct, I think it's about 2:30, but we got a later one this time, so it's 4:15.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? Like, I mean, if I got that one as well...
Well, we're going to hang out in the Hilton bar for the day. But you're more than welcome, mate, if you want to join us and, get a later bus, feel free.
Yeah. There's some of the guests, I think, some of the TF Nation people do stay an extra night, don't they?
Yeah, some of them do, yeah.
Depending on where they've got to go.
Heil Hitler.
All right then, lads. Shall we call it?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you've got to get up and that, it's daft staying on any longer. Yeah.
Well, I haven't, but Sam has. So.
Yeah,
it's been great to talk. It's great to talk to you guys as usual. I've had a good
turn. I've got something really funny planned. But...
No, he told me he couldn't come on tonight.
Gay.
All right. Well, thanks all for watching. Thanks to my guests, God Pikachu and Mr. 000firestorm. Okay, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
See you soon.
Take care, lads.